In the fourth quarter of 2025, in an industrial zone called Baoshan in northern Taiwan, minutes from Hsinchu Airport, TSMC formally fired up the first mass production machines for its N2 two-nanometer node. That moment, almost without mass media coverage, was one of the most important inflection points in recent tech history. For the first time since 2011, when Intel introduced FinFET, a company formally changed the fundamental architecture of the transistors that move the world. And that company is not American, not European, not Japanese. It is Taiwanese. TSMC now manufactures on a single Pacific Ocean island 200 kilometers wide 90% of all advanced chips on the planet, and the client capturing more than half of its initial 2-nanometer capacity is Apple for the iPhone 19's A20 processor shipping September 2026. AMD, NVIDIA, and MediaTek split the rest. This is the story of how TSMC, through a combination of brutal investment, military discipline, and favorable geography, became the only manufacturer in the world capable of producing the most advanced chip at commercial volume. We have to understand why Hsinchu, the industrial zone around Hsinchu known as Hsinchu Science Park, was created by the Taiwan government in 1980 as a direct response to Silicon Valley. Its mission was to attract Taiwanese engineers who had been trained at American universities, Stanford, MIT, Berkeley, and give them opportunities to return. The strategy worked. TSMC was founded in 1987 by Morris Chang, a Taiwanese-American engineer trained at Stanford and former Texas Instruments vice president, with government and Philips Group backing. The logic was revolutionary. Instead of competing with Intel by designing and manufacturing its own chips, TSMC would be a pure-play foundry, dedicated only to manufacturing chips for third parties. In 2026, that decision looks obvious, but in 1987, no analyst believed the model would work. Almost 40 years later, TSMC bills over $90 billion annually, manufactures 90% of the world's advanced chips, and operates 15 fabs, most around Hsinchu. Some analysts call this zone the most strategic place on the planet. It is no exaggeration. If Hsinchu falls, the global economy takes at least 5 years to recover, per Boston Consulting Group and Bloomberg economic simulations. TSMC's N2 process has technical features worth naming specifically. Transistor density close to 300 million transistors per square millimeter compared with 215 million on the prior N3 node, a 40% improvement. Performance. At the same power, N2 chips are between 10 and 15% faster than N3. At the same speed, they consume between 25 and 30% less energy. These improvements sound small, but accumulated across an AMD MI400 GPU or an Apple M6 processor, they translate into additional battery hours, watts saved per chip and per server, and thermal efficiency that defines whether a data center architecture is viable or not. TSMC's GAA nanosheet architecture uses 3 nanosheets per transistor for mobile and consumer chips, and up to 4 nanosheets for high-performance server chips. Each nanosheet measures approximately 5 nanometers thick and 30 nanometers wide. Production processes require more than 80 lithographic layers. To pattern and deposit materials in these structures, TSMC used over 200 ASML EUV machines, 8 of them high NA EUV. Each machine costs between $200 and $400 million. The lithographic equipment alone for the N2 fabs cost over $30 billion. But technical specifications are not what decides the winner. It is the capacity to produce good wafers at volume. And here, TSMC executed something almost without precedent. By end of 2025, combined capacity of the Baoshan and Kaohsiung fabs reached 45 to 50,000 monthly N2 wafers, with reported yield between 70 and 75%. By 2026, TSMC projects scaling to over 100,000 monthly wafers. To compare, Samsung Foundry at its SF2 node reached 55 to 60% yield during 2025 per TrendForce reports. Intel 18A is in mass production, but its current volume is secret. Analysts estimate 5 to 10,000 monthly wafers. TSMC capacity exceeds its two rivals combined, probably by a factor of 3 to 5. And here comes the economic problem. Although TSMC has superior yield, demand massively exceeds supply. Apple captured 50% of initial N2 capacity for A20 and M6. AMD got a significant chunk for Zen 6 EPYC. NVIDIA and MediaTek took what remained. TrendForce reports the N2 wafers up approximately 50% price versus N3 at launch, a phenomenon the industry calls wafer premium. The customer pays more to be first. The TSMC-Apple relationship is the closest between any pair of companies in tech. It formally started in 2014 when Apple decided to drop Samsung Foundry as exclusive A8 manufacturer and move all production to TSMC. Since then, every Apple A or M chip has been made by TSMC on the most advanced node available. The reason is triple. First, temporal exclusivity. Apple pays a premium to be the first commercial client of each new node, giving it marketing and performance edge over Samsung Galaxy and premium Android competitors. Second, guaranteed volume. Apple buys over 100 million A chips per year for iPhone, giving TSMC return guarantees on the massive investment in each node. Third, vertical integration. Engineering teams from Apple Cupertino and TSMC Hsinchu work on co-design, tuning chip and process simultaneously. This cooperation runs so deep, some analysts call it bilateral vendor lock-in. TSMC depends on Apple to validate new nodes. Apple depends on TSMC to not lose edge versus Samsung Exynos or Snapdragon. And that is why Apple captures over 50% of initial N2 capacity, because it already paid the premium before TSMC offered capacity publicly. AMD and NVIDIA share the rest of TSMC N2 capacity, but with different dynamics. AMD, under Lisa Su, plans to use N2 for Zen 6 EPYC, the server CPUs launching late 2026. The stakes are high. AMD has been gaining server market share versus Intel since 2020, and N2 gives it another generation of energy efficiency advantage, a critical dimension for hyperscalers like Meta, Microsoft Azure, and AWS paying billions in electricity. NVIDIA, for its part, uses N2 for its new Vera Rubin architecture, Blackwell's successor, expected late 2026. The R200 GPU will be, per estimates, one of the first massive N2 integrations with HBM4 assembled in TSMC's CoWoS. And here is where the ecosystem becomes circular. TSMC manufactures N2 for NVIDIA, assembles HBM4 from SK Hynix on CoWoS for NVIDIA, and delivers the complete final product. NVIDIA becomes almost a captive client of TSMC with no real alternative for Rubin at volume. MediaTek, the fourth public N2 client, will use the node for its Dimensity 9500, next year's Android premium chip. Qualcomm tried to enter N2, but TSMC did not give capacity. Rumors indicate Qualcomm will migrate its premium line to Samsung SF2P in 2027. But there is a big asterisk over all this analysis, and it is called Taiwan. The island, home to 90% of world advanced chip production, is just 160 kilometers from mainland China's coast, in a zone where Beijing has increased military exercises every year since 2020. Official Chinese military doctrine holds that Taiwan is part of China and does not rule out the use of force for reunification. The United States, on the other hand, operates under strategic ambiguity. It neither confirms nor denies it would militarily defend Taiwan in case of invasion. The result is that TSMC in Hsinchu literally operates under permanent nuclear and conventional threat. Any Taiwan Strait conflict immediately paralyzes production. Boston Consulting Group estimates that a 6-month total disruption would cost the global economy over $1 trillion in lost productivity, plus another 3 to 5 trillion accumulated in subsequent years. TSMC is aware of the risk, and that is why it builds fabs in Arizona, Japan, Kumamoto, and Dresden, Germany. But no analyst believes those fabs can replicate the sophistication or scale of Hsinchu in less than 10 years. What happens in Taiwan defines what happens with N2 and everything after. When TSMC fired up the first N2 machines in Baoshan in Q4 2025, it was not just launching a product. It was reaffirming a position the global industry recognizes but rarely verbalizes. Today, in 2026, any significant advance in artificial intelligence, mobile computing, everyday gaming, advanced electric cars, 5G or 6G telecommunications, and modern military weapons passes physically through a single company, on a single island, in a single industrial district. Hsinchu is not a place. It is the most extreme concentration of productive technological capacity in human history, and the entire world knows it. The United States invests billions in CHIPS Act to diversify. China invests hundreds of billions to catch up. The European Union puts subsidies for Dresden and Ireland. Japan revives its industry with Rapidus. But none of those initiatives, per public projections, can replicate Hsinchu capacity before 2035. Until then, the entire world operates with a single point of failure in its most critical infrastructure. And every night, while you sleep, more than 100,000 people work in Hsinchu, manufacturing the transistors that move your digital life. Remember that next time you turn on your phone.